This is Michael Popok, and I'm on Legal AF YouTube channel. Let's burst the myth right now. Donald Trump has no real intention of taking over Greenland by force or wanting to take over Greenland and adding it to Alaska, as his ex-national security advisor, Robert O'Brien, just said on Fox News. That's not what he wants to do. He sees the strategic importance of Greenland, sure, but he wants them to protect themselves. He wants the Danish government to increase its spending to protect Greenland, because Greenland is a bulwark between America, Russia, and Chinese interest in the Arctic region. But Donald Trump doesn't want to take over Greenland. First of all, Greenland and its 56,000 people are on the Danish welfare state model. The Danish welfare state model. I mean, there's a reason that a lot of happy people are in Denmark. Okay, I've been to Denmark. They're very happy. Part of it is they've got a mandatory social welfare system that every citizen is entitled to access. This would drive Donald Trump and MAGA crazy, because there's no way he's ever going to get the people in Greenland to vote to get themselves off of what is a universally acclaimed welfare system for every citizen, because it's based on the Danish model. Here, just so you know, because Donald Trump apparently doesn't, the tax-funded benefits and services in Denmark that you're entitled to for being a citizen, and that includes people in Greenland, includes paid parental leave and child benefits, subsidized daycare centers, primary school and vocational high schools and business schools, and further and higher education that you're able to access for free. Student grants all along the way, healthcare, general practitioners, hospitals, and specialty care for free, psychological care from 18 until you're 24, unemployment and disability and sickness benefits, a housing allowance, early retirement for persons with disabilities, a state retirement pension, not Social Security, a pension when you turn 67, elderly care, public libraries, subsidized public transportation, subsidized public cultural activities and sporting events, roads and highways without tolls. You see where this is going? Do you think Greenlanders are going to give that up? No, they're not. So Denmark has beefed up its defenses, not so much against an encroachment by the United States. I know that's how it's been reported sometimes. Denmark is firing back. They're increasing their military budget by $2 billion. No, it's not that. It's that they are going to do a better job of defending this mass territory, this mass expanse. It's like, I don't know, 2 or 3 times the size of Canada, and it does have an important strategic role in the world. I respect its sovereignty. I mean, it's not really completely sovereign because it's tied to Denmark, but it is a territory of Denmark. But it does have, I mean, we have to acknowledge it does have an important strategic role. Robert O'Brien, when he was being interviewed on Fox News, had this to say to try to float the trial balloon about the takeover of Greenland, which, again, as I said at the top of this hot take, is a charade. Let's run his clip.
The Kingdom of Denmark owns Greenland, and they've got an obligation to defend Greenland. And so President Trump said, if you don't defend Greenland, we'll buy it, and we'll defend it. But we're not going to defend it for free and let and not develop Greenland and not extract the minerals and oil and resources of Greenland. And while we defend it, Denmark gets rich, and the King of Denmark, becomes even wealthier. Denmark is now on the front lines of the war against Russia and China. They're like the Baltic states. They're like Poland because of their vast territory in Greenland. And so they've got to defend Greenland. And if they can't defend it, we're going to have to, and we're not going to do it for free.
Okay, again, they have no interest in doing that. But every time Donald Trump sends out some of his proxies to go after Greenland, Denmark increases its military presence, which is ultimately, since they are an ally, is ultimately to the benefit of Donald Trump. That Arctic region is very important, because of mainly Republican policies. We've had the melting of the polar ice caps in the Arctic region, and therefore we now have maritime pathways and channels that have opened up for maritime transportation and cargo ships that weren't there 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 30 years ago, or before. So it's starting to become a tremendous gateway for the transport of goods. It may rival the Panama Canal one day. At the top, it'll be the Panama Canal of the upper white north. Russians and Chinese have taken an interest in the Arctic area and in developing it. We have an interest in having good relationships with Denmark and with Greenland in order to help them exploit their natural resources like oil and all of their minerals and rare earth elements and items that are necessary for our national defense. So it is important. But why Donald Trump has to lie that he wants to take over Greenland? He's never going to, could you imagine? You'd have to offer them as well as they're already getting. And what I read to you from, just so you don't think I was making it up, is actually from a website of Denmark.dk, the official Denmark website, listing all of the happy taxpayers and broad public support. I mean, one of the things that Denmark has that we don't have, as they mention it, is listen to this phrase. I wish we had this in our country. It's a high moral social contract. It's a relationship between the citizenry where they protect each other. That's why it has very low crime. We don't have a social contract any longer. Our political parties led by social media and by tyrants like Donald Trump has pitted one against the other. Right? Donald Trump can only survive in a cauldron, an overflowing cauldron of animus and venom, and we're seething at each other. That's where Donald Trump comes out of, right? He doesn't come out of a let's all get along and respect our constitutional republic and our social contract. So when you hear Donald Trump wants to take over Greenland and he sends out his proxies to talk about that, he doesn't. He just wants to make sure he has a pathway for the United States to exploit their natural resources and make sure that Denmark pays its fair share to protect that vast region. Now, Denmark has already responded, not to fend off America, because that would never happen, and we would never attack Greenland, but they have said they're going to invest over almost $2 billion US in drones, in dog sleds, in expanding its airport for F-35 fighters and the rest. And, the goal there is to get Denmark to protect Greenland from advances by China and Russia. I mean, Russia has already started an encroachment in an area that Greenland considers to be their exclusive economic zone. They call it their exclusive economic zone, the EEZ. And Russia's trying to get in there between fishing and other maritime exploration, development, oil and gas, and all of that in that region. It is important. But for Robert O'Brien to say, we'll just grab it, we'll defend it, but they'll have to become part of Alaska. I mean, this is just, but I got to do hot takes on this on Legal AF because it's important because there's so much misinformation on YouTube and in other places. And I want to try to clarify it. I think you've learned to trust me in my analysis, in my thought process, and my judgment. And I think that's why you're here on Legal AF. Take a moment, hit the free subscribe button. Continue to come back to Legal AF for exclusive content you can't find anywhere else. I'm also, of course, on the Midas Touch Network at least 3 times a day, doing law and politics analysis as well there. Tuesday nights, Popok Live on the Midas Touch Network, including New Year's Eve night. And then the OG podcast, yes, Legal AF, Wednesdays and Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time if you want to watch your podcast. If you want to listen to your podcast, then look for us on any podcast platform like Apple, Spotify, Google, and the rest. So until my next reporting, I'm Michael Popok. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.